and we're actually winding down, is one of my favorite exercises, the 5 whys. And really, any negative situation, any problem that you're struggling with, it is really useful to help people delve down to deeply what's wrong. And really, if you have a major obstacle, you have a major problem, why is that the case? Okay, I cannot make as much money as I want to. Why? Okay, maybe I don't have enough sources of income. Why? Maybe I watch too much television. Why? You see how that works? Now, there are many, many variances and examples of this. However, it really takes consciously attempting to figure it out to actually get to the bottom of it. Many coaches, when we work with clients, typically we use this exercise a lot. And there are many coaches on this call. I'm sure they could attest to this. The name obviously varies, but really it is important to really get clarity. And when you're struggling with a major issue, a major internal conflict, it will help you get clarity so that you could get clearer as to what is it that you want or what specifically that you need to do. Now, here's what I really, really am passionate about. Falling in love with what you truly want. And many of us, we're so focused on negativity. A lot of it is pumped at us actually. But we're so focused on negativity that we don't take the time to do this. Some people call it having a vision board. Some people call it having affirmations. Some people call it really having photos on your computer. There are many, many forms that we could do this. And you personally do what works the most for you. Do what works the best. However, what really helps fast is to have a ritual, have a particular time of the day where you consciously focus on what that is for the day. Okay? What that is 1 year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now. What's your ultimate life vision? And it's not just identifying what you want, it's also identifying why you want it. Because nothing really compels us deeply like the reasons why we truly want something. And be honest about it. And really probing even deeper into what those are until you're really satisfied or you're emotionally moved and really focusing on what that vision is for you. Now that may change as you mature, you get more experiences, you have more situations, but always keeping that image of what you want the next year to look like, specifically what you want, how you want to grow up, what you want the business to look like, what's your 5 year vision. Some of you do it for your companies, I'm sure some of you do it already. Specifically holding this clearly. One, most people don't naturally do it, but does just this alone really helps focus away from negativity and really helps you move towards the things that you actually want because your subconscious regularly is focused on this as well. Now, one of the most powerful things that we've discovered is that we typically do things, and I'm paraphrasing, within the context of time that we have. And intentionally allowing ourselves a tighter deadline to do things quicker really moves our engines a bit in that we're able to come up with the solution a lot faster. And what really helps people accelerate towards what they really want is if they set a shorter frame of time to get there. And you break down those major, you break down your major goal in chunks. However, you set goals that will challenge you even more. Now, as we know, for example, with Grant Cardone and his 10x rule, and one really good way to paraphrase it is that typically if you want something, you have to take 10 times as much action. And how it relates to this point is that really you have to ensure that you do, right? And one thing about The Secret, I know most people here should have watched it, is that as much as it deeply emphasizes the power of thought, it doesn't focus on action enough. And that is something that we should never ever ignore. And we should always put it first, as important as mindset is. because you simply cannot think something into existence, and you have to ensure that you're doing what it takes to get there. So doing what it takes with less constraints, so a bit more constraint, right, really pushes you there a lot quicker. Next is accountability. And getting someone else to really keep us accountable, to really make sure that we execute, is something that most of us don't do. And it is why mentorship works very well. It is why masterminds, I'm sure, like this one, work very well. It is why many people, some people seem to get ahead than others. It is because they have others who keep them accountable. And it's not just them, there's an obligation to really see the commitments through. Now, many similar ideologies, you have the carrot and stick approach, you have a trigger and a reward. You have many different motivation systems here. But the point is, you could go down within the weeds of those. But the point here is that you need to have a decent accountability system. And having someone else to be accountable for removes some of the focus off you, and that helps massively suppress the fear that you have. One of my favorite ways is, and one of the best excuse busters, if you will, is to look for examples of people who've done it. Look for people who have what you have, who have lived your dream, and emulate them. Bring them into your life. Take them out for lunch, take them out for dinner, and really focus on how they got there. Now you have to be careful in that you do not try to copy every single thing from every mentor that you meet, because not everyone who is, for example, financially successful, not everyone's lives across the board is worth emulating. So you really have to pick what is it that you emulate and what is it that you take on board. So be conscious of that. However, looking at and seeking to learn from others, whether it's books, whether it's mentorships, whether it's paid programs, seeking to learn directly from people who have what you want, who do what you want, really accelerates the learning process. I know that sounds simple, but really, most people actually don't do it. Most people rather complain as to why they don't make enough money, rather than seek someone, even if it's a book, on how to get there, at least to start. It's a very, it's the mindset shift is very subtle, but it's very pronounced as well. And unless you're that kind of individual, unless you actively seek who has what you want, the how will never take place. The how will never come. And it's never luck. Now, in closing, what I really want you to come away with in this presentation is that you really need to ensure that you have the fortitude to take back the power. Okay? Stop blaming external circumstances. Yes, there are things that we cannot control. I acknowledge that. However, you have to understand what your own power is. You have to not suppress your deepest desires and your will to get there. You have to not let circumstances and people really stifle who you could become. And you have to not to be afraid of who you can become. Only then will the action come. Next, you have to challenge your comfort zone. You have to be willing to do it regularly. There are many different exercises that we could use to do that. However, really, it's daily doing something small. Meditation, for example, could be how you begin. And really, the more that you get comfortable with, the more that you find that you're capable of executing it. And lastly, as a wrapping up, you have to commit to becoming the best version of you. And by committing, I mean taking action in that it is what you solely focused on and it's what you will become no matter what. Okay? It's not about if, it's about how and when. Again, your mindset has to shift a bit. And really, I really want you to be willing to examine what that person is. And again, that individual is unique for all of us, but be willing to find out and be willing to try. Because only then will the how be relevant. Only then will the courses, will the mentorship actually work. If you actually don't want to do it, you don't believe that you can, you're not willing to try, no amount of training that I give you in my courses or in this presentation, all the other members on this panel here, no amount of it will stick. Okay? So again, I'm thankful for the opportunity to present here on this panel and to all the listeners who will go through this. Again, if you want to learn about me, you could actually book a 30-minute consultation here. For those of you who are listening, it's craige.com/breakthrough session. Again, I have a free gift for members. You go to craige.com/solve one of my products, how to stop grinding and live an awesome life, is there for free exclusively for the members here. And also my course, Life Awakening System, if you're interested. Thank you very much, and I'm honored to present.